It doesn't start with aliens. It never does. The stories, the theories, the late-night conversations, they are all destinations. The journey begins somewhere much quieter. It starts with silence. Not just the absence of noise, but the presence of a void. The kind of silence that settles in a room after a question has been asked and no one has the answer. The kind that feels too big, too empty. A silence that stretches from the space between your breaths to the space between stars. We fill our lives with sound to keep it at bay. But in the quiet moments, when we stand under the open sky, it returns. Because deep down, humans struggle with one idea more than any other, that we might be alone. For most of history, the night sky was terrifying, a suffocating blanket of black pricked with cold, indifferent lights. There was no light pollution to soften the edges, no explanations to tame the immensity, no certainty to offer comfort. There was just endless darkness, and the primal, unshakable feeling that something could be watching from it, that we were small, and the world was not made for us. Long before technology, before satellites, before science, humans already believed there was something beyond them, not because of proof, but because of fear. Fear of isolation, fear of insignificance, the deep, gnawing fear that our existence has no witness but ourselves. So we populated the darkness. We filled the sky with gods, spirits, and monsters. We told stories around the fire, turning the terrifying void into a familiar map of constellations and myths. It was our first attempt to answer the silence. As civilization advanced, that fear didn't disappear. It evolved. It put on a lab coat. Science told us the universe is vast, unimaginably large, filled with billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars. Our sun, just one of them. Our planet, a speck of dust in a cosmic ocean. And suddenly, being alone felt impossible. The fear of loneliness was replaced by the logic of probability. Statistically, with so many chances, so many worlds orbiting so many suns, there should be something else, someone else. But statistics don't calm fear. They amplify it. Because if the universe is full of life, then the silence is no longer a passive void. It becomes an active refusal, a deliberate quiet. The question changes from, is anyone out there, to a far more unsettling one. Where are they? This is where belief takes root. In the fertile ground of that paradox, it grows not in evidence, but in contradiction, in the space between what is possible and what is observed. Governments deny, witnesses claim, explanations shift, stories conflict, and in that friction, uncertainty grows. It becomes a fog, obscuring the line between fact and fiction, between coincidence and conspiracy. When people don't trust institutions, they trust their own eyes. They trust patterns, lights in the sky, objects that move wrong, that defy our understanding of physics, encounters that feel personal, profound, and impossible to dismiss. For some, seeing something unexplained becomes more powerful than never seeing anything at all. It's a crack in the wall of silence, a whisper in the void. Belief fills the gaps that silence leaves behind. The idea of aliens isn't just about visitors from another world. It's about meaning. If something else is out there, then we're not an accident. We're not insignificant. Our story is part of a larger cosmic narrative. If something is watching, then our existence matters. It has a witness. But there's a darker side to this belief, a shadow that walks alongside the hope. Because believing we're not alone also means believing we're not in control, that something smarter, older, more powerful could be observing us. And humans have always been afraid of being observed. It's the feeling of walking down a dark street at night, the vulnerability of being seen when you cannot see, not knowing who watches, not knowing why, not knowing when they might step out of the shadows. This fear doesn't need proof. It only needs doubt. Every unexplained event, every classified document, every blurred image, every official denial that feels just a little too quick, it all feeds the same thought. What if they know more than they say? Over time, belief stops being about aliens. It becomes about trust, or the lack of it. When institutions feel opaque, when explanations feel incomplete, people search for their own answers. They look elsewhere, upward, outward, beyond. In this context, belief becomes protection, a shield against the feeling of being powerless. It's a way to explain chaos, a way to cope with uncertainty, a way to feel less alone, even if the company is imagined. The universe doesn't answer back. It offers no confirmation, no denial, and silence invites imagination. It is a blank canvas, and we are compelled to paint something on it. That's why this belief persists. It's woven into our psychology, not because aliens have been proven, but because uncertainty never goes away. And humans hate uncertainty more than they hate fear. Fear, at least, has a shape. Uncertainty is formless. It is the monster we can't see. So the question was never really, are we alone? That was just the surface. The real question, the one we ask ourselves in the deep quiet of the night, was always, can we live with the idea that we might be? That's why so many people believe we're not alone. Not because they've seen something definitive, but because for them, any answer, even a frightening one, is better than no answer at all. Because silence is harder to accept than fear. Unspoken.